couple weeks ago, we had one limb near the chicken coop that missed me by like a foot. And I'm talking, I got like 100-foot trees. I mean, they're huge. It missed me by a foot. So I was getting really nervous. I didn't want to get hurt. So we jumped on downing these trees, and that is where this expense came from. And it really wasn't an expense I could fend off longer because we're getting into hurricane season. So let's get into the budget. And this budget looks very different. It does. It's an entirely different workbook that me and my husband worked on. And the reason why I do have a new budget is the other budget was really hard to follow, especially on a phone. And my husband has access to the budget on his phone. So he didn't like that there were multiple sheets, if you will. He wanted it all on one screen. Somehow on that other spreadsheet, my math messed up on some calculations, and I had a really hard time fixing it. My numbers were off, and I just wanted to capture more than it was capturing. And I just decided to take some of the little downtime I had. I came up with a new budget. We tried it out this month, or actually the last couple of weeks, and it really worked out. So we're going to see how this works. Hopefully this makes sense when I go through it. It is capturing a lot more than my other workbook was, which is great. And it's more separated. So as we go through it, I'll show you what I mean by that. So we had a lot of things happen this month. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I have been sick all month. And it started really getting bad about 2 weeks ago. So I don't know what I had. It almost felt like a cross between the flu and bronchitis. I never got a fever, never got, certain symptoms, but I coughed my brains out. And I coughed so hard that I was seeing stars, or I would literally get sick from coughing so hard. And at one point, I thought I was going to throw my back out. So it's been a long process of healing. It really made me mad because there was no amount of herbs, medicinal things that I could make, or my herbal teas, or anything in my apothecary that made me feel better. It was that bad. And at one point, my husband wanted to take me to the emergency room, and we all know that ain't gonna happen. I have my own personal reasons why I don't go that route, but he did talk me into taking commercial cough medicine, which, oh my God, y'all. I don't know how y'all take that crap. It tastes horrible. Oh my gosh. My cough syrup that I make from home is honey based, and it wasn't even touching anything. Like, I don't know what the hell I had, but the only thing that worked was this commercial crap that I took. So I still have a little bit of residual. Every once in a while I will cough, but for the most part I am on the mend, and I'm very, very thankful for that. The other thing that happened this month is we got hit with 2 surprises, which I will go through when we get to that section. So let's just start off with our income. So we had 3 paychecks this month. The last paycheck of the month, which is right here, covered the last week of the month as well as the first week of June. And because I didn't have any bills per se in that time frame, I had a little bit, as you can see. I had a little bit of bills that were due that month. Let me go back to, this is actually my May budget. So you'll see $522. I did have just a couple but it still left us with a lot of money to play with. So we had a total income of $92.75 this month. That included a little bit of money I got from my little side hustle, which was lower than I expected, which is fine. And you'll see right here that the numbers don't jive. So my husband is salary. He was getting $2,900 before, and I do round up on my numbers, so that's why you don't see cents or like super exact figures. And that calculated to $9,275. So our bills, subscriptions, spending, and debt, this is where he wanted a little bit of separation. So my other budget put all of my subscriptions in my bill section and a lot of the debt in the bill section. And I primarily did that because excuse me, they're the same every month. So I put them as bills, and collectively we wanted to separate it like you see here. So the bills that we paid this month were our mortgage, our electric. We usually budget about $165 because that's basically the highest that we will pay electric besides January. January in Texas is our coldest month, at least where I'm at, and that's typically our highest bill. So all other months, we typically don't pay more than $165. This month, I got it down to $90. Our car insurance is $137, and I do believe that this is going to go down for subsequent payments because we just started a new policy. Our cell phone and internet is $275. And we had tree cutting. So I know that this seems like way low than most people get for tree cutting. Typically, they'll want like $500-600 a tree. Our neighbor actually was able to do this for us for basically the price of one. So we had 5 trees that were dead. And unfortunately, they were in really weird spots. So this is really an expense that I could not wait anymore on. Primarily because one of the trees is literally on the corner of our well in our house. And the other trees are around the chicken coop. So when limbs have been falling off, like I believe a couple weeks ago, we had one limb near the chicken coop that missed me by like a foot. And I'm talking, I got like 100-foot trees. I mean, they're huge. And it missed me by a foot. So I was getting really nervous. I didn't want to get hurt. So we jumped on downing these trees, and that is where this expense came from. And it really wasn't an expense I could fend off longer because we're getting into hurricane season. So that was a necessary thing that got added to our budget. We also have our tolls. Now, I did split this up per check before on our other budget, which you'll see right here. I usually do $10 a check, but this is set up monthly. So we're gonna budget the entire month, knowing that our bills are pretty much segregated to where they should be, and we know what we're paying. So this is where this $20 figure comes from. And then we have cleanup. So I had an entire carport full of cardboard boxes of trash that our trash people will not collect. And I called every dump around me, right? And nobody would take residential trash. So this was something that, because I was so sick, I couldn't do it myself. I sucked it up. I paid $40 to have someone basically lug a carport full of cardboard boxes and things that could be burned. down to our fire pit and just burn it for me. So I didn't want to be breathing in all that smoke, especially with, the chest sickness that I had. So to me, that was another needed expense. So all of these bills have been paid already, so I am going to mark them paid. A neat little feature that I added to my budget. All right, so subscriptions. We have my husband's CDL subscription, which is $14. That has been paid. Our pest control just came out of $78. That has also been paid. Our Prime membership, Paramount, and Hulu, those have all been paid. Our identity theft has been paid, and our personal subscription has been paid. So our bills this month with the $50 buffer was $3,240. And then our subscriptions was $220. So moving to our spending, which is mid-month. This is the spending amounts that come out from our second check of every month. And this is for the entire month. So it goes mid-month to mid-month. So I had planned $450. We actually transferred $450. So I have seen some budgets where they will plan $450 and then they will take their receipts and that is their actual. For me, I take this entire $970 and it gets dumped into a spending account. So I'm working off that spending account and then figuring out what to do with the residual if I have any money left over. So that is the difference on why you don't see kind of like what we actually spent right here. This is what we budgeted, what our check allowed, and this is what got transferred. So we had $450 for food, $150 for gas and fuel, and that is because my vehicle takes gas and his vehicle takes diesel, which, my gosh, y'all, that price of diesel right now is crazy. It's like over $5. The animals, this is for animal feed and seeds and anything else that they need, was $40. Our dogs, this is for dog food and flea medication, was $80. Our personal was $100. Our health is $50. Eating out was $100. I am trying so hard, y'all, to stick to this $100 budget. Life just keeps lifing and it's not working out that way. So I may have to increase this next month if our budget allows us to do so. But with me being sick, I could not hardly get out of bed, let alone stomach the smell of food. So, and it just happens to work out this way. My husband had a vacation the week I was sick. So nothing got done around the house. I couldn't cook. So he ate out, and unfortunately, he charged the credit card. So what you'll see for eating out was what was charged to our debit, but there is charges on the credit card, and that's why we keep paying off the credit card. So it's just honing in what cards are grabbed and where our money is going and being pulled from is something I really, really, really need to work on. And we've just been going at the speed of light since I think February. And last year things were a little bit more planned and steady and even and consistent with a little few blips along the way, and it just seems this year I can't get a handle on it. So we're definitely working on that more. The solar loan was $262. That has been paid. My car loan is $223. That was paid. My student loan, $103, has been paid. Our store card, oh my gosh, y'all. This is what I mentioned at the beginning of the video. We had a couple surprises. And the surprises were these two right here. My store card. I literally was $240 away from paying off this store card, which was due to be paid off next month. Wouldn't you know that this weekend my refrigerator died? Absolutely died. And I just did full grocery shopping and nothing was holding temperature and it was malfunctioning, and we cleaned it like crazy. We pulled it out from the wall, we cleaned it, we did everything that we could to it, and it still wasn't working. So we were forced to go buy a new fridge because I don't have enough cash on hand to pay for a fridge. We have scratch and dent places around here, which I would have much rather gone to. But, excuse me, y'all. But the way that I cook, how much I cook, and how we really utilize our fridges and our freezers, I needed a big fridge. And I didn't have enough cash on hand. And I didn't want to charge our credit card, which I think is about 16% interest. So I was kind of going through all of our options, and this store card that we have is 0% interest. So unfortunately, this was the end result. What was supposed to be paid off next month has now been added like $2,400 because we had to buy a warranty. So, y'all, now I have another bill for 3 years. So, that was a surprise that I was not at all prepared for. And as far as this old card right here, y'all, my past kicked me in the behind big time because I let a credit card go a while back so that I could catch up on everything else. And it bit me in the butt because I ended up getting threatened with court. And I'm like, dude, y'all are going to take me to court for like $3,000? Like, really? So this is coming back into our budget. I have no choice but to pay for it now. I even played the whole, I don't have a job, I'm a caregiver. Yeah, they didn't give two craps. And now it's back in our budget. So, that being said, those were the two surprises that we ran up against, and it all happened within a week. Like, it was crazy. Like, the month started, I started to come down with something. By the second week, I was so freaking sick. Third week, so freaking sick. And last week, boom. This past weekend, boom. Like, the world had different plans for me, regardless of my budget. And it's funny because on this budget, I actually went through and like I did every single budget like to like next year to see how things were going to plan out. And if I did a certain strategy, how fast could I pay stuff off? And yeah, these two cards right here basically blew every plan we had out of the water. So that was very, very, very discouraging. Thankfully, we have the income to do it now. Y'all, I just really wanted to pay this card off. I was getting so excited. I probably shouldn't have gotten as excited as I did, and I probably shouldn't have budgeted out a year and a half, because I feel like I got jinxed. I jinxed myself. So those two are now added to the budget. Our Synchrony card is almost paid off as well. I think I've got maybe 4 months before that is paid off, if not 5 months, of 103. So these got paid. Our personal loan got paid, and our credit card. So I used most of the And y'all, I had already paid the credit cards off. Not off, but I already made these 2 big payments on the credit card a few days before our fridge died. So if it happened the other way around, I would have not paid these payments and I would have paid cash for our fridge. Again, universe has different plans. So I had already made these payments and it is what it is. So these 2 got paid. I ended up paying $1,500 to the highest balance card, which is the card that my husband uses when he is at work, if he needs anything, if he stays longer than anticipated. While I was sick, a lot of our house stuff goes on here, and you'll see from our spending, we had a lot of auto repair because the clutch went in my car. And y'all, those are not expensive. Like, we had to buy a clutch. I think everywhere we looked was about $700-800. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to test this, and I'm going to go to AI, ChatGPT, and I'm going to put in, find me this part, the lowest you can go. And he did. I actually found it on eBay for half that. It wasn't even $250. Excuse me. And it was brand new. So that worked out. We saved money there. But that unfortunately got charged. So we paid on debt this month of May $4,047. Y'all, that is painful. That is painful. Because a lot of these bills were in, a lot of these debts, like the ones that are the same every month, which is was basically these 4, nope, these 3. And yeah, these 3 were in our bills category, which technically they're debt. So I hadn't been doing it wrong anyways. So now that all of our debts are in one spot, this is how much debt we paid this month. That's crazy. It's I don't know. It's eye-opening because they were segregated before and now it's all in one section. Yeah, it's nuts, y'all. Absolutely nuts. Nuts. All right, so we've got all of our bills marked paid. Now we have our sinking funds. So we restructured our savings sinking funds primarily because our goals have changed a little bit. So me and my husband talk all the time, and we're like best friends. So we're always talking, and he tells me what he wants to do and vice versa, and what we need to do with the house, and so on and so forth. So these are a little bit restructured, and the goal amounts, I'll explain when we go one by one. So this is long-term savings, and this is something that we've been dumping money into little by little. And the long-term savings account really started to happen in February, March. So our goal is just $5,000 to start. I know it's a big number. But as we go through this video, I'll start to explain why all these amounts are the way they are, because we have a couple plans that we are preliminarily thinking of, and trying to slowly put this into play with as much cash as we can to set ourselves up so that when we are ready to make a go of our plans, we're not financing everything. So what I mean by that is, my husband wants to, instead of working for somebody else, because he's good at what he does. And with him being as good as he is, with 30 years behind him, they're running him ragged. Absolutely ragged. Yes, my husband makes good money. but there's big prices to pay for that money. And he's not a spring chicken. He just turned 50, and he's the only one that runs as hard as he does. And other people around him are like going home early, or they have one job to do that day when my husband has 6. My husband gets all of the difficult accounts, and it becomes mentally exhausting. So he wanted to make his own company and run it himself and do things different. Well, that comes at a cost, because his current truck is not going to suffice. And I need to make sure that our bills here are taken care of for the first few months, so that we are not completely upside down and then making things a lot more difficult for ourselves. This is not something that's happening this year. This is not something that's happening next year. This is something that we are preparing for, so that we can get ourselves in a position where we can start making our own money and do things a lot differently. So he has his dreams, and I also have mine. I do have an Etsy store. There's nothing in it, but I do have an Etsy store that I have been working on, and I'm very good at the computer. I'm home taking care of my mother-in-law a lot of the time, and I need additional income. So we're going through all of these ideas and all of these things that we could do, and this was kept in mind when we were coming up with these goal amounts. So our long-term savings is probably, as you can tell, that will pay this. That we'll have to get rid of some of our subscriptions, but this bill amount and this spending and some of our, necessary. So I'm trying to come up with that we can save a month or 2 of expenses before any of this happens. So that is the goal for our long-term savings. How fast we'll get there, I have no idea. Our emergency fund, I'm going to start small, mind over matter, $1,000. And I'm just going to let it sit. And when that is met, then I can roll this $25 into our long-term save. I don't know. We just did a lot of thinking. This is preliminary. I don't even know how this is going to all work out, but we're going to give it a go. So our auto. This is my deductible, his deductible, auto renewals, and probably maybe $750 left over for repairs. So that's where that number came from. Home repair. Our homeowner's insurance deductible is $7,000. And any repairs that we need to do in this home, we're hoping to save $1,000 for that. Our homestead, which is going to include anything outside, repairs on fencing, cutting down trees, the chicken coop repair, building our sheep pens, which are now put off. I was supposed to get, our planned goal was to get sheep next spring. I don't think that's going to happen, because there are other things that are taking precedent that I just don't think that that's going to happen. Unless by the grace of God it does. But for right now, we are going to set aside $1,000. Our business venture, this is primarily to buy one piece of equipment so we don't have to finance it. Like I said, this business is going to take a truck loan, but everything outside of that, I want to pay in cash and pay as we go. So we're not only accumulating things, but we're owning things. so that when the time comes, we're not financing the world. I mean, nobody wants to start a business that way. So I'm trying to be very, very, very smart about it and do our research and do a lot of the groundwork while we have time to do it. So if I can save this, awesome. And if I can do any of this, awesome. But I'm trying to stretch absolutely everything. Next month, I'm going to be lowering our grocery budget and trying to figure out how else I can pull money, save money, move money, finagle money, every which way. So I also wanted a section I could check off when I transfer it. So these have all been transferred. I don't know why I have this category, this line right here. It's kind of redundant. So that's done. So we actually put away $798. This is a new section that we wanted to capture because I wasn't capturing it before. And that is if we have any money leaks. And the money leaks are ATM fees because cash is king out here. So oftentimes, if I need cash, I'm going to have to go to the ATM and get it. We did have 3 fees to pay, primarily because the tree cutting was 3 payments that I gave. Actually, it was 2 plus the $40. So there's your 3 transactions for $4 each. So I had $12 in additional money leak ATM fees that we pay for. I didn't have any late fees because we pay our bills on time. But in the event we did have a late fee, it would go right here. And you'll see, like, if I put like a $25, this graph updates, but we don't. So we had $12 in fees this month. The expense tracker. This is where I decided to do things different. So on our other spreadsheet where my math got totally screwed up, I tried to figure it out and I just couldn't do it. So I had everything in here, including the bills we pay. So there was so much to look at, so much to track. See, I couldn't get the math to math. And, or the formulas to work, actually. We included all of this and all of this, and it was too much. So this is only what we're spending out of our spending because it all goes into one account. So I just wanted to know, out of that account, where does all our money go? Because our bills are already covered. So this is everything that we pulled from our spending, which if you're a cash budgeter, this would be your daily spending envelopes. So as you'll see, we have food, gas, animals, dogs, personal health, eating out. Within those categories, this is all we spent. So I have a scan column over here because I use Fetch. So I do use Fetch Rewards, which is an app, and I will actually put in the description of this video my referral link where you can get 2,000 points and I can get 2,000 points, and it's a win-win. So if you want to get that app, look in the description. You'll see my referral code. And I basically use this strictly for gift cards so that we can use it on eating out and date night. It just helps. I used to use it as my kids' stocking stuffers. So I know they're digital, but I would just simply print them out and then forward them the email so that they could use it, you know, whenever they saw fit. So that's how I took care of that when my kids were young. Now that it's just us, we just simply use it as a gift card for eating out and date night. So this is going to be, if I scan my receipt in Fetch, I'm going to mark it. So I am actually going to, oh, I forgot Amazon. I'm actually going to do that now with my Fetch as we speak because I did not do my Amazon. So I am going, excuse me, I am going to pull that now. That is done. All right. The feed store, yep. Eating out, auto, gas. So I did go ahead and I do keep my receipts. This one, no, because it doesn't pull from my email, or I can't add this to fetch to pull from. So, yes, Dollar General. This was for Mother's Day. We had a $152 bill. I had my mother-in-law during this time, so we were actually paying for 3 people, which is why it's so high, plus the tip. Online car part, no, I didn't scan that one. That was eBay. Eating out, transfer to kids, no. This one, these are so low because I coupon. I had extra care bucks, a coupon. If it pumps out, you'll notice on the tags, it'll say if you buy this product, you'll get $4 in extra care bucks back. I roll my transactions when I am at CVS. So a lot of times you'll see my CVS amounts, they're very, very low. And that's because I do multiple transactions. I use my coupons, I use the sales, and I use my extra care bucks. Transfer to kids, no. I scanned that one. These eating out, these were scanned, that was scanned, this was scanned, these 2 were scanned, and these 3 were scanned. So all of those are scanned. I know that they're in fetch, I know that they're accounted for, and I know they're done. So I scroll down to here. So in this section is basically a calculation of everything in this previous section. So where did we spend the most money? And this mimics our spending. Our spending is right here. Right here. So where did the majority of our money go? So food, I had budgeted $450. So that was actually over. Gas and fuel was under. Our animals were under. Our dogs were under. Personal was over. Health was way under. Eating out, that was supposed to be $100. But at least this is a hell of a lot lower than we were last month, because last month was crazy with eating out. So we're definitely making progress there. And then other was $105. And I think this was our transfer to our kids. So all in all, I had budgeted $970 for our spending, and we spent $1,408 on our spending. So our highest was food and eating out. Yeah. So we still have a whole lot of work to do. I still want to rein in our spending if the universe just stops happening. That we can actually get ahead. So I do have one bill, which is the Synchrony card that I only have a few months left to pay on. I think it's like 4 or 5 months. This credit card, the first one, I think I am down to, I think the balance is like $700. And then this is our biggest one. So I have progress that is coming up. I was kind of hoping the store card would be included. It is not. And my student loans, I'm not even tackling anything over the normal amount that I pay every month, because each loan is only getting like $20. So it's low enough that I'm putting my effort toward a lot of the others. So I haven't really been tackling it other than just paying on it every month. Yeah, so we're going to work on reducing our food, reining in our eating out, even if I have to change the budget, and working on additional sources of income to bring in more money. And a lot of our problem is a lot of people rely on us, but we don't get anything back. And that's the most heartbreaking thing, is we're responsible for so many different things and we don't get a penny for it. So we're trying to develop ways that we can make more income without, working 50 times harder. So a lot of our plans are still a few years out. We're still working on it. And I am working on my Etsy store so that hopefully I can get that little shop up and running, so that I can make more money, especially seeming I am home and I am a caregiver, so there's got to be a lot of give and take and a lot of things I have to put off in order to, obviously do my responsibilities, but I don't want to lose sleep and I don't want to do this all night. So I'm trying to find that balance where I can still have a life, you know what I mean? And still do what I want to do without major sacrifices. And unfortunately, I wear so many hats around here. Sometimes it's very overwhelming. And I do so much around here that oftentimes I don't have time to do it all. And if you tackle all my responsibilities and put them in one jar, I basically have a full-time job plus a part-time job. So, and I know a lot of my life is private and I'm not going to disclose that on a public forum like YouTube, but trust and believe that everything that we do other than my husband's paycheck and what I can get from my eggs, I do not get paid for. And we're kind of stuck in a position. So making more money and getting more streams of income is going to be kind of what we're going to start looking at, researching, building, so that we don't feel like we're always so strapped. And when our businesses do start, I am no longer going to be caregiving because I cannot do all three, if that makes any sense. I am just one person and I don't want to run myself ragged and make myself sick. And that's kind of where we're at. So hopefully everything in our budget is going to work out. Hopefully this new layout gives us a little bit more knowledge of where everything is going. This little chart up here is my nest eggs. This is all of my sinking funds and how much we were able to put away. Right here on where did my money went? Okay, that makes no sense. Where my money went. Much better. Out of 100%, we had 35% in bills and expenses. We had 2% in subscriptions, 44% of debt, 10% in spending, and now this is planned spending, and 9% in our sinking funds. So all in all, we spent 100% of our income, and we went a little bit over. So I hope that made a lot of sense, and to kind of explain where we're at, where we want our budget to go, where we want our money to go, where our future plans lie, even though I haven't really disclosed a lot of what we want to do. That is still being ironed out. Yeah, so I've got these 2 new bills, majorly sucks, but we'll work with it, and some goals that we have that we are currently saving up for. So if you have any ideas or different ways of doing something, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your suggestions. I mean, I know that our budget is not like anybody else's. I know that I do things a little bit differently, especially when it comes to the actual column. I know a lot of people literally put their actual. I just put what I've transferred. So there's a few things that I did that were different. And yeah, so far we really like this budget. My husband's absolutely thrilled because it's all on one page and he doesn't have to go through multiple worksheets. So this was something that I came up with that's working for us right now. This is our first month using it. So I'm not going to have things like, you know, monthly dashboard and everything else like that. It's going to be built as I go, but it's a starting point. And I know that in January I started with this one. This is the one that he absolutely hates because everything is just so, it's so much. So this is just one sheet, all our info on one sheet. He can just scroll, get anything he needs, and we'll be done. So, and I love these colors, y'all. I love the blue and the pink. Much better than the green that I had before. So, yeah, so this is our monthly overview for the entire month of May, including all of our goals and all of our plans and a few hiccups along the way. So thank you so much for sticking with me to the end of this video. If you didn't catch my previous video on 7 ways that I save money that I uploaded a week or two ago, I actually had the day off and I decided to make a video and just throw 7 ways that I save money, how I make my bread, how I make some freezer meals, my household cleaners, you know, things like that. And I do plan next time I do get a day off, maybe even do 7 more. So I know it all ties into budgeting. It all is how we save money. So if I can share little bits and pieces of what I do here to save more money, like how I'm able to spend $450 a month, you know, 4 to 5 weeks at a time on groceries and make it stretch. And granted, we eat out, but hopefully that'll go away or be bare minimum if we could just rein it in. We don't live close to anything, and that's where a lot of our eating out comes from. Especially when we're running errands and we have to go shopping for car parts and go to this store and that store and this store and that store. You know what I mean? And that's just something that we have to really work on. So other than that, I hope you liked my budget this month. I am currently starting the budget for June. Hopefully my numbers will be much, much better. And all we can do is make little progress every month and not really worry about it. Because worrying about it does nothing. So progress is good progress, even if it's little. So I will see you guys next time I upload a video, which is probably going to be 7 more ways I save money, and also for the month of June's monthly overview. So I'll see y'all then. Bye, y'all.